Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome to Cavaletto Studios. I had a request for foam rolling for runners. Even if you're not out putting the miles in, your body will completely appreciate the target areas we will be getting to today. You will need one tennis ball or something similar size, and a foam roller, long or short is fine. We will mainly be focusing on the lower body, but stick with me towards the end. We will be releasing the upper body nice and gently. Be sure to like and subscribe below. Let's get started. Okay, today we are going to start with the fascia of the feet. So we're going to line up our toes evenly, pointing forward. And I want you to stand nice and tall, open up the chest, take a deep breath in. And I just want you to reach for your toes. Bend over and reach all the way to your toes and see how far you can reach. Check in with the hamstring. Notice how your body shifts. Go to your toes and then back to your heels. Pick a side. Notice where your fingers reach. One hip, maybe your hamstring or calf tighter than the other. And then slowly roll back up. So as we're, for runners out there, your feet take a pounding. So we're going to dig into the fascia of the feet. Now you can pick either side that you want. I'm going to start on my right foot, and I'm placing the tennis ball right below the ball of my foot. So right there, so you place the tennis ball right underneath there. Your heel is on the floor. So go sideways, and then you're going to do a gentle press release into that tennis ball. Gentle press release. And then start to draw your foot literally side to side. You're still standing with the heel on the floor, but you're just rotating that foot side to side. So you might feel a little stretch through the ankle, getting it loosened up. So that fascia connects from the bottom of your foot all the way over the heel, up the back of your leg, into that calf. Now I want you to draw your foot slightly forward so the tennis ball moves behind the ball of your foot, more towards the arch. And then gently rock your foot again side to side. Tennis ball or something similar size of that, a racquetball, a lacrosse ball, those work fine too. Now you're going to bring your foot further forward, try to get it as close to the back of your arch, but keeping your heel on the floor, and then do a gentle press release. Now if you're pressing and it's causing pain, then don't press as hard. And then gently draw that foot again, side to side. If you've had plantar fasciitis, this is also a great one to help release and massage that fascia in the bottom of that foot to help relieve any pain going on there. Now you're going to flip it so your toes go on the floor, your heel comes up. Now it's still the back of the arch, and rock your foot side to side. So we want to get that fascia. So as we're running or even walking, even if you're not a runner, you got to run to the bathroom, right? Sometimes we got to run to catch someone up the street, or your dog runs away, you got to run after them. Go all the way to the heel. So as we're running or walking, our feet, they get impact, and they have to absorb the impact and spread it out on the feet. So this is very helpful to keep mobility in the feet as well, which is important for moving and not injuring our ankles or our knees or hips or back or anything else. So gently now roll that tennis ball forward and back from the toes to the heels. All the way forward and back. You might get to the outside edge of that arch, maybe the inside edge of the arch, maybe draw little circles with the foot, and then reverse direction, massaging it out. Now I want you to just place the tennis ball to the side. Put your weight on the foot that you just rolled. The other foot can just be out there for balance, and then now start to draw circles with your knee, massaging that whole around the whole base of that foot. Whole base of the foot, one direction. So you're going to the outside edge, inside edge of the whole right foot, or whatever foot you're standing on, and then now reverse direction, go the other way. See if you can bend a little bit further into it. You might feel like a deeper stretch in the ankle. Again, very good for mobility as we plant that foot down. One more. Excellent. So now line those toes back up straight. We're gonna check and reach again. So I want you to take a deep breath in. Exhale, fold, forward fold, reach for your toes. Soften the knees, now notice the difference. See how much farther your arm can reach on the leg that you just rolled, or the foot you just rolled. We haven't got to the legs yet. And then slowly roll up. So hopefully you notice the difference. We're gonna go to the other foot now. So now I'm on my left. You're gonna put the tennis ball under the ball of the left foot, a gentle press release. We're just being gentle here. Just noticing the difference. One foot might have more sensation or tension than the other, and then start to rock your foot side to side. So like you're rolling that tennis ball, just gently, very small movements. And again, not pressing so hard that you have pain. Then you move your foot a little bit forward so it goes right behind the ball of the foot, and again, rocking side to side. And be mindful of what you've got going on in the feet. Just loosening things up. So that fascia, if you find any little knots or bumps that are like a little tender, that could be crystallized tissue. That fascia gets stuck. Now you're gonna move a little bit further back, getting as close to that heel as you can, so you're getting deep into the arch of the foot, and then rock side to side. And then we're also going to do a gentle press release here. Now, if you're doing a press release and it's painful, then just stay with the side to side. This is where you get to play around with what feels okay with you. When we do myofascial release, which is what we're doing with the tennis ball, we're releasing that fascia tissue, getting hydration and nutrients to the area. You don't want to have pain. So go ahead and bring the toe down and lift your heel. And you're going way back to the back of that arch and rock side to side. And when you're ready, you can move that tennis ball to the heel. Just a little rub around there, back and forth. And then now draw that foot forward and back. So you're drawing the tennis ball from the toes to the heel, the length of that whole foot. Maybe draw circles, so go to the outside edge of the arch and the inside edge. Hopefully it feels good. I got a little spot there, a little rub there. Excellent. Now you're going to take the tennis ball and just let it go to the side. Push it all the way to the side. And I want you to place your weight in the left foot or whatever foot you started or that you just did. Other foot's for balance, and then start drawing circles again with the knee. So you're rotating your weight from the outside to the inside and the front and the back of that whole foot. Maybe you get some snap, crackle, pops. Maybe things are starting to release. That's always a good thing. And then reverse direction, the other way around. It's really cool now because the rest of the day when you walk around, you're going to feel like you can feel your feet on the ground. It's a really neat feeling. All right, now we're going to line those toes back up about hips distance apart. Take a deep breath, open up the chest. Exhale, reach for those toes all the way down, all the way. Reach, reach. See how far the hands, maybe you can reach further now. Wiggle the toes and just check in. And then slowly roll up. Now your feet are probably feeling a little bit looser, hopefully. So we're gonna move on up the leg and we're gonna use the foam roller next. And we're gonna start with the shins. So we did the bottoms of the feet. Now we're gonna just jump to the front here and then we will get to the calf. So when you put your roller longwise across the floor, you're gonna be going down onto your toes, sitting on your toes, and your shins are on the roller, hands in front of the roller. I want you to either lift your hips or you can tilt to one side. Now I'm gonna start on my right again. I'm gonna take my left foot back, place it on the floor for balance, and then you can draw the knee forward towards your hands and your hips towards the heel, and then back up. Now I want you to try to add a circle rotation with your ankle as you're drawing that roller to the ankle all the way, almost to the top of the foot, and then back up towards the top of your shin. And I'm leaning to the right as I'm doing my right, so I'm going on the outside of the bone. Maybe lean a little further. You can get a little further to the outside. Now, if you want more of a challenge on that shin, you can cross your left ankle over the right, and I'm crossing those legs, so it adds a little more pressure, and you can circle the ankle again. If you find a spot, this helps prevent shin splints. If it's super painful, then keep that leg out on the floor. That is totally fine. We got one more. And remember, very important to remember to circle the ankle. That really helps loosen things up. Excellent. Now you're going to switch sides. So you're going to uncross the ankle, place the left, and then reach the right leg behind you, tilt your hips to the left side, and then push yourself forward and back on the shin, rotating the ankle. So I'm showing a couple options here. If it's super hard to hold you up, you can always rest your hip on the roller, or you can stack. Now I'm stacking my right ankle or leg over the left. So shins can be a little sensitive if you've not rolled them before, or if you have shin splints or have had them before. And again, lean as far to the left as you can to get a little bit of the outside of that tissue that goes up there. There's a lot of the muscle and the fascia tissue. Shin splints is when that muscle and that fascia, mostly the fascia, gets attached to the bone and you can't get it to release. It adheres to the bone, and it's very painful because when it adheres to the bone, you have no mobility. Now, once you're done, we're going to bring both knees in front of the roller and bring the tops of your toes on top of the roller. So you're not the tops of your feet, but the tops of your toes. Separate your knees, and they're just going to hinge your hips back to wherever feels comfortable to you to stretch out the ankles and the shins. Now, if you can also sit all the way back, sitting up tall, as long as it doesn't bother your knees. And just feel that nice stretch through the shins. Maybe you can sink your hips between your heels. Again, it depends on your flexibility. Maybe you're just here and that's plenty, especially if you have any ankle issues going on. Take a breath. Wonderful. So now what you're going to do is we're going to release that. Go ahead and bring that roller back under the shins. Tuck the toes under so you can place them on the floor and do a counter stretch. And then, so you're standing on the balls of your feet, knees are bent, hands on the floor, and you're rocking yourself side to side. So you might feel a little tension in the ankles, see where it's tight. The feet like this because we rolled the fascia on the bottom of the feet. Then you're going to sit all the way back down on your bottom, and we're going to flip over to do the calf. So now we're going to the back of the leg. So we're going to get this whole area takes such a beating when you're running. So we really want to massage out. So I'm going back to my right. I'm just sticking with the pattern here with my right side. So I'm going to go to my right calf, and I'm going to cross my left ankle over the right. You do not have to if this is super painful. So a couple options. You're going to bend and straighten that right knee, and then I want you to add a circle with the ankle of the right leg. And then turn your whole right leg to the right and keep circling. Circle, circle. And then turn it to the left and circle, circle. Now if you find a spot, just pause on it instead of bending, and pause on that calf or the roller and circle the ankle if you have a tender spot on the leg that you're on. Then we're going to lift ourselves and move ourselves closer to the roller, which means the roller moves up the calf. And another bend and straighten and circle the ankle. And when you're circling the ankle, make sure you go both directions. And then turn the right leg to the right and circle that ankle again as you bend and straighten. And then try the left side. Turning it, circle that ankle. Don't just bend and straighten the knee. Make sure you're circling the ankle. That's the key right there. If you find a spot, pause on it, and then just circle. We're going into the meaty part of the calf. So you're moving it up a little bit higher. Bend and straighten. Oh, I forgot to circle my ankle. Circle, circle. And then turn the leg to the right and circle. So I got a spot here. So I'm just going to pause on it, and I'm going to circle my ankle both directions, one each way. Or maybe a couple one way, a couple the other. So that's what you want to do if you find a tender spot, or we call them trigger points. So again, that tissue can get all crystallized, it gets stuck. So when we think of it as a sponge, like if you got a crystallized spot, pretend a sponge and it's all dried out and it's hard and crusty, and then you add water to it and you can squeeze it and rinse it, and then that's what we're doing to this spot. We're squeezing out the old stagnant water and refilling it with fresh nutrients and hydration. So we're getting up there right below the knee. So when the knee bends, we don't want to bring the roller behind it, but we want to stay right below it. So the last part, everybody has different lengths, leg lengths. So rotate that ankle. And the other side. Good. And now we're going to walk that roller back down. Hopefully you're done, you finished up. If you found a spot, feel free to go back to it. But I'm gonna move to the left. So again, we're just trying to get through each part, get it all done so you can go out on your run. This can be a before or after. Sometimes I'll just do a really quick roll before I run, and then I come back and do this whole entire series of rolling after. All right, we're gonna rotate and roll that roller and the ankle right in the middle, then turn your leg to the left, bend and straighten, and rotate. Now this is just kind of the quick way to get through it, and then the other side, and just finding those spots. I mean, there are other quicker ways, like you could always lift and roll, but you miss a lot when you do that. So I want you to just really focus on that calf, on that little area, then move the roller up, bend and straighten, and rotate. Anyone notice a difference on this side than the other? I'm actually finding some more spots on my left than I had on my right. And I'm right-handed, but I got something going on with that left calf right now. And then turn it to the left. Sometimes I can't bend and straighten quite so much. So you want to go slow. So it's not like a super fast bend and straighten. It's slow. It's slow and controlled. And then turn that leg the other way to the right. If your wrists or hands start getting tired or your shoulders are getting super tense, like mine were going up to my ears, let's drop our shoulders. Option is to drop onto your elbows. That's fine. You can do what you want. You can even lay all the way on your back and do this. Especially if you're super tired, you're like, oh, I just want to lay down. That is acceptable, of course. You got to listen to your body. We're rolling up now into the meaty part of the calf. Rotate that ankle. And maybe you have to stay in a spot longer, or if it's super sensitive, move past it, then come back to it. That's always a good option. And then roll to the inside. Are we almost there? Everybody's almost to the top there? Good, one more. Little push up there to the very top of that calf, right below the knee. And just notice what you get going on. It's a good idea to foam roll frequently. If you have knots, you want to work with them out slowly and stay consistent on getting there. All right, so we are done with the calf. I want you to just roll your foam roller out of the way for a moment because we want to really stretch. Move the roller out to the side, and we're going to come onto all fours because I want to stretch out. We did the feet to calf and shin area, so we can really get in there and stretch them well. Separate those fingers. And then you're going to come into a plank, and you're going to walk out those feet. And I want your hips a little bit higher. So if we're in a plank and we're walking out the feet, that's great. But I want you to lift the hips like you're going towards a downward facing dog. And I want you to pedal out your feet and really shift those hips and walk the feet. And bend deep into the knees and deep into those toes as you press and release, and see how much closer each heel can get towards the floor as you're pedaling out. Your right heel goes to the floor, and then left as you bend and straighten the knees. Now I want you to press both heels towards the floor, soften the knees, slightly bend them, and push your hips way back and up. Push into the palms of your hands so you're stretching out those calf muscles. Now I want you to slowly bend the knees towards the floor, but don't let them touch. And then slowly lower them all the way to the floor. Untuck your toes, and then just slide your hips all the way back to your heels. So you're stretching out the tops of your ankles. Now, if that bothers you, then you don't have to go all the way back, and that's totally fine. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up, we're going to get our roller again, and we're going now to the glutes. So you're going to, actually I'm going to start on my right, because I said I was going to stay on the right. So I'm going to stay on my right glute. So go ahead and have a seat on your roller, arm behind. So we will get to the middle part. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten our quads, of course. I would never forget the quads. Favorite place to roll. But I want you to go all the way to that glute because I have a plan for you for not just the quads. We are going to get to the IT band and the inner thigh today because when you are a runner, those areas tend to get tight as well, not just the quads. We're going to get them all. So you're rolling that glute to top and bottom. Our glutes have a big job. They help us rotate our whole hip. So again, if you find any spots, just pause on them and move that knee up and down. If you want to get a little deeper, I'm going to cross my right ankle over my left thigh and then roll again to the top of the glute and to the bottom. All the way. Try to open up that knee and really roll to that top and then the bottom of the glute. Now pull the knee in and try to roll towards your sits bones in the middle of the glute. Up and down, open the knee and lean more to the right and roll the outside. And then we're going to rock right side to side, east and west in the middle of that glute. Then we're going to cross that right leg deeper over. So really cross the right thigh over the left and roll to the right, right on top of that glute. East and west. And then now north and south. Use your left foot to push your whole body up and down. So you're still rolling the glute, but your leg is really crossed over nice and tight. Now you're going to uncross the right leg. Go ahead and sit on the floor in front of the roller. We're going to straighten out the left leg, flex your left foot. I want you to pull your right foot across the left thigh, hold on to the knee, and we want to stretch that glute. So sit up as tall as you can. We're flexing the feet as well. Think about your posture here and think about how much nice stretch you're getting in that glute muscle. Feels so good, doesn't it? Now we're going to be getting, after we do the other glute, we're going to get to the quad and IT band and inner thigh. Get you moving. All right, then we're going to release. Give it a shake, and we're going to switch sides. So now we're going to the left glute. So you're going to get back up on your roller. I'm going to flip around so I can still face the camera. You're going to lean onto that left glute. Use both feet flat on the floor, knees bent to roll yourself north and south. Rolling up and down. Now this again is where you check in. Does this glute, the butt cheek, feel different than the others? It got some speed bumps, I call them. Roadblocks. Areas that are tender. All the way up and down. Now you're going to take that left ankle, cross it over the right thigh, open up the knee, and continue to roll up and down. And then we're going to pause in the middle and we're going to rock east and west, which is side to side. If you find a spot, just pause on it and move that knee up and down and then roll again. Now you're going to take that knee, pull it in a little tighter, roll to the middle like the sits bones. And then you're going to cross that left knee even tighter over the right thigh. Lean into that left butt cheek and roll again all the way to the top and the bottom. Anybody find some spots? My left side just is talking to me today. And you're going to find the middle and again, rock east and west, side and side to side. Getting right into that side of that glute. Maybe roll back down towards the bottom of it, getting into that sits bone. And then north and south one last time. All right, there we go. We're going to uncross that leg. Let's have a seat on the floor and straighten out the right leg, and let's cross the left. Now sometimes we want to just move on past it and keep rolling. So important to stretch each area after you foam roll it. It's kind of like the sponge analogy. If you squeeze the sponge out, if you don't run the water into it, it's just going to dry out. You have to refill it, get new nutrients. Well, the same thing. We just foam rolled, so it's kind of like squeezing that sponge. So when we stretch, it's pulling in those nutrients and the hydration. And it keeps your mobility up and prevents injury. So we're sitting tall, we're hugging in that left knee to the chest, flexing the right foot, ankle area, feeling that stretch through the left. Now we're going to release and give it a stretch. You're going to flip over into a plank. We're going to start with the quads. It's my favorite area to roll because it's such a great preventative for knee injuries and hip. It prolongs any kind of knee replacements. I can't guarantee to prevent, but it can help prolong. So you're going to flip over into a plank and bring that roller right above your kneecaps. And we're just going to gently roll ourselves forward and back 1 inch and try to let your legs relax as much as you can. Maybe not letting just let the feet dangle. And then I want you to walk your elbows backwards 1 inch and roll yourself forward and back 1 inch again. So you're slowly going to move that roller up the thigh, but keep it slow and controlled. And then one more time, walk the elbows back so it moves up again. Anybody find some spots? And then we're going to walk it up again, forward and back. So sometimes those, not just runners, but I think pretty much everybody, especially now, we've been sitting so much more. Our quads get so tight. And if you're running any kind of hills and you go downhill, the quads really have to work hard to slow you down. So that's when the quads are getting that workout. And so this is where it can help loosen them up. And so they're not pulling your knee as much out of alignment. So you keep walking those elbows back till you get to the top of the thighs. Then I want you to walk your elbows forward, draw your body forward so the roller goes to the top of the knees. And then roll yourself, and this is slowly, not quickly, all the way back to the top of the thighs. But I want you to slide your knees down onto the mat. Now, we're going to do a stretch before we continue on with the quads. I want you to stretch in a child's pose. So separate your knees, feet together, hands on the roller. And then I want you to melt your hips down to those heels. And we're going to just take a couple breaths and stretch those quads all the way in child's pose. And then we're going to slowly come back up. Hopefully you can feel that stretch in those quads. So now we're going to move on. We're going back onto the quads again, but we're going to add in the IT band and the quad together. So we're just going to get real fancy here. So bring it back to a plank position. It's right above the knees. And then I want you to rock yourself body to the right and then roll the roller all the way up to the hips. And then all the way back down towards the knees. Now rock your whole body so you're on the inside edge, you're rocking it to the left, so the inside edge of your right thigh and the outside front edge of the left, and then roll up to the hip, and then back down. Good. Back to center. Now I want you to bring that roller to the middle of your thighs, right to the middle. And I'm going to start, I'm going to actually start on the right side. So you're going to roll onto your right side. I'm going to show you the back side here. You're going to tilt onto your right outer edge of your right leg. Place your left foot flat on the floor, bend the knee, and use your right elbow and draw yourself all the way up to the hip and then all the way back down to the knee. So you are on the IT band. All the way up and down. We're doing 2 more times. I want you to lean back a little further, and then when you go down and then lean forward, so you're almost drawing a circle now around the IT band, a circle up and down, and then reverse direction and do a circle up and down twice that way. And then go back onto your plank, back onto your thighs. I'm sure you're gladly saying, of course I will. I've already done that because it was a little painful. IT band can be painful. We're going to switch. So now you're going to the left. So you're going to tilt your body onto the outside edge of your left thigh. Bend your right knee, place your right foot flat, left elbow on the floor, and then use your right foot to draw the roller all the way up to the hip and then back down to the knee. Do that a couple times, and then we're gonna add those circles. So you're gonna lean a little bit forward as you go up, back as you go down. One more time. And then I want you to reverse direction the other way. And you might be feeling this a bit. And then when you're done, we're going back onto those quads. Oh, that feel good, hopefully? No, not really. It doesn't ever feel good. All right, go ahead and slide off the back. This time you're gonna bring your knees together, right under the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Actually, bring your knees all the way together. Let's touch the knees together, and then drop your hips towards the right. So this is just a little mini stretch. We're gonna get deeper into the IT band after we do the inner thigh. And then drop your hips to the left. And then one more time to the right. And one more time to the left. Good. Now we're gonna get one more spot before inner thigh, and that is the TFL. So just this whole area up here. All right, so I'm gonna show, what I want you to do then is you're going to go almost like we're gonna do IT band again, but now what we're doing, we're dropping to the elbow and we're going right to the top of our hip. Now I'm keeping my right knee on the floor, I'm on my right hip, and I'm just gently rocking from my butt cheek into where my hip would bend, my leg would bend at the hip. And just that whole area. I might go a little lower into the top of the thigh. Just kind of play around with it. Bend your left knee, place the foot flat. There goes my, and I'm rolling just a little bit higher and lower. I'm gonna even draw circles. So try circles in that whole area. Leaning in and out, and then the other direction. Now there's a bone right there, so if it's super painful, go in front of it, like lean forward so you're in the hip instead of going onto that bone. Right on the side there. Can be a little tender. And then once you're done, you're gonna sit all the way up. Now the leg that you were just working, rolling, I want you to cross it again and just hug it in. Now we're hugging into the knee, but what we're gonna do is change it. I want you to pull that foot further to your left so you're on the outside edge. I'm gonna turn this way so you can see. So you're pulling the edge out and you're just really stretching, pulling the knee. Right knee is crossing over the top of the left thigh. And then just slightly lean into it and then twist away from it to the left. So it kind of connects all the way up in here. And then back to center. Are you super excited? We get to do the other side. So again, those hips, they have a big job. They move us day to day in our activities. So I'm going onto my left hip, and I'm going to bend my left knee. It's on the floor because I want to protect, because sometimes that can be a little tender. My right leg is bent and the foot's behind me, and then as I roll up and down, the knee does come off the floor, my left knee. And just roll, and you can rock side to side, make little circles. TFL, Plantar Fasciitis. It's a little tiny area, little muscle up there, the side. If you just kind of reach in here and massage around, you can find it up there. There we go. So when you are done, we're gonna sit up on the floor again, straighten out the right, cross the left or whatever side, give it a hug for a moment, and then slide that foot further down so the outside edge of your foot is on the floor, hugging the knee, start to lean into it. So your left knee is crossed over nice and tight on top of the right, and then turn just a little bit away from it. It can be a little bit of a deep stretch here. If you're super tight, maybe the leg doesn't go all the way across. That's okay. Maybe it's just out here. Maybe your knee doesn't bend like that. That's okay. Just do what you can. All right, from here, we're going to go into inner thigh. So what we're gonna do is you're going to bring your roller right next to you, like it's laying right next to you longwise, and you're gonna go onto your belly, or the side of your waist. So I'm gonna start with my right. So I'm laying on my left side, or towards my left side on my belly. And I'm gonna bring the roller in, and I'm placing the roller right below my leg. So my right knee, or inner thigh I should say, is on the roller and it's above my knee. And then I'm going to straighten and bend my right leg. So inner thigh can be a little tender. Inner thigh. And then you're going to roll your body or the roller up the thigh a little and then straighten and bend. And then you're going to roll that roller up the thigh, straighten and bend. Just a couple straighten and bend, just checking in with it. Keep rolling it up. It's a little tender. I'm making faces, I know, because it can be a little bit tough to do this area. This is where you get to decide, was IT band harder or inner thigh, right? And then you're going to roll your body from your belly to the side of your body so you can roll that roller up and down the inner thigh. So going from the knee to the middle of the thigh, you can move it up and go from the middle to the top of the thigh. And just gently getting that area. And this is where I want you to pay attention to which side has more issues going on, especially when we stretch it after. We have a really good stretch for the inner and outer thigh. All right. So we're about done with that one. If you found a spot, maybe you stay on it. We're not spending a ton of time on that leg because we're going to flip over and we're going to do the other inner thigh. So let's just change positions, go on to, or flip that roller to your other side. Place your left leg on it and then straighten and bend. So you'll be able to get through each of these places of the body, each target area. Straighten and bend, move up that roller, straighten and bend. And we don't want to stay in pain, not at all. So that's why we're not spending a ton of time here. And maybe your inner thighs are fine, fantastic if they are. And then all the way up. So you're bending and straightening as you move that roller up the inner thigh. Once you get to the whole area, then you move it back to the middle of the thigh and you start rolling the thigh. The leg is straight or bent. Either is fine. You can try both. So I'm rolling it from the knee to the inner thigh, and then I go up, go a little bit higher up, depending on where you have issues going on. And do you notice one side has more trigger points than the other? Yeah, it means you're normal. We have a dominant side. All right, once we're done with that, we're going to come up and then go ahead and just place the roller on the side away from you, and we're going to stand all the way up. All right, so come all the way up. Now we want to stretch the areas that we just did. So you're going to take your legs nice and wide, and I want you to take your right foot slightly in front of your left, and your feet are wide. And then you're going to bend your right knee and hinge your hips towards that right back side, so you're stretching the inner thigh of the left leg. So just really stretch it there. Now when we come up, what we're going to do is we're going to come up, you're going to bend the opposite leg and lean into it. Stretch. So we want to stretch the inner thigh. This leg is in front, the stretch, so we're getting more of the back side of it. We're going to be switching that. Good, and then you're going to come up. Now I want you to switch your feet. So place your left foot slightly in front. So basically your toe would touch your heel if they were together. Bend your left knee, sit into it, so you're stretching back on that right leg again. Changes the stretch just a bit. When we're running, our feet are not always, next to each other. We're staggered. Switch sides, shift your hips to the right, stretching the left inner thigh. Good, and then we're going to come up. Now you're going to stand nice and tall. I want you to bring your right foot in front and cross over your left. So this is where we're going to get a little more into the IT band and the TFL, which we did roll. Feet are flat, knees are soft. Place your right hand on your hip. I want you to start to lean your whole body, upper body to the right, but push your hips to the left. Now I want you to look down at your left foot and push your arch into the floor. Your arch is on your foot. Push it into the floor. And just breathe. Good. And then we're going to come back up. And then we're going to slowly switch. So now bring your right foot behind. Tuck it behind your left. Stand tall. Feel what's going on with the hips. If they're tight, soften and bend the knees. Start to tilt your body, upper body to the left. Push your hips to the right. Look down at your right foot and push that arch into the floor. Feel that stretch up the side. Make sure you're not leaning forward. You're still just sideways. Good. And then slowly come back up. Now you're going to bring your feet back under your hips. Now we're going to combine the two moves. So I want you to take your right foot out and step it out to the right. Stretch the inner thigh. And then come up, cross it in front, and lean to the right and push your hips to the left. And then one more time. Step out, lunge, bend the right knee, hips hinge, and then bring it up. Stretch it over. Good. It's a great warm-up as well before you run, just to practice doing that slowly. Now we're going to switch sides. Step out with your left, bend the left knee, hinge the hip back, stretch that inner thigh, and then come up, cross in front, hips hinge to the right as you lean to the left. One more time, step out, lean into it, stretch that inner thigh, cross in front, hip hinge to the other. We're only doing two because we got more places to roll here. Good. Feet forward, placing them forward about fist distance apart. I want you to reach for your toes and notice the difference from when we started. I bet your hands can reach a little further. I bet your hamstrings, we haven't even rolled the hamstrings, but they bet they feel a lot looser. Excellent. Now you're going to get your roller again. You're going to have a seat on it. Now we're not really going to get too deep into the hamstring today, because I want you to just use your fingertips behind you and rock and roll on the back of the hamstrings. So you can use a tennis ball, different areas. But I'm not too worried about hamstrings that much. Now I want you to tilt your legs to the right as you roll, and then to the left. You can always use, put your hands flat or on your fingers. And then one more time. Make big circles, rolling your feet and your hips from one side, roll up, tilt the legs in the other side, and then reverse direction. Just a nice little release. And then hips are going to the floor. I want you to take your roller out from under your legs and bring it behind you. Straighten out your legs, sit up nice and tall, pull your glutes out, flex your feet and reach for your toes. Maybe even push. If you can reach your toes, push on the front of the toes. Just a gentle press, like pop one, there we go. Or you can pull your toes back. And just feel that nice stretch, those hamstrings. And then we're gonna sit ourselves all the way back up. And now we're going to upper body. So most of our focus was on lower body, but we tend to get tense when we run. So I want you to bend your knees, and you're gonna put the roller right at the bottom of your shoulder blades, and your fingertips behind the ears, feet flat, and let's lift the hips, and we're gonna roll the upper back. So you roll from the shoulder blades to the bottom of the shoulder blades to where your belly would meet in the middle of the back. Now, if your head is okay with letting it go, cross your arms over your chest, tuck your chin slightly, and roll your back. Again, it might get a little deeper, maybe a natural chiropractic adjustment. I lean just a slightly to maybe one shoulder blade to the right and then one to the left. Excellent. And now you're going to go ahead and lower your hips to the floor. Bring your hands back behind your ears or the back of your head, but not interlacing them, keeping them wide. I want you to tilt to your left shoulder blade and roll up and down slightly. You can keep your hips on the floor, or you can lift your hip off the floor. But you're just slightly to the right shoulder blade, and then gently roll to the left, or roll to the other side. Now I'm on my right. And just gently roll that shoulder blade. And then we're coming back to center. You're going to put the roller behind your head, all the way back. So it's on the back of your head, your hips and your back are melting into the floor, you're relaxed. Good. Turn your head slightly to the left and do a nice little head nod. Yes, and the roller is right on the back of your skull, on your occipital bone behind your ear. And just say yes, and then a little mini no, maybe a little circle. And then slowly draw your head to the other side. A little rock side to side, up and down. Little circles. Notice the difference in if one side is tighter than the other. And then back to center. Feel the energy running through your body. Feel how more released and relaxed you are. You're going to hug your knees into your chest here. And then I want you to roll yourself all the way up. And just feel the energy, feel everything release from your shoulders. Feel how loose your neck feels. Let's bring our chin to the chest. Stretch it out. And then slowly roll your right ear to the right shoulder. And then left ear to left shoulder across the front. And then one more time, right to right. And then left ear to left shoulder. And then chin to chest. And then go ahead and lift your head to neutral, chin in alignment. Shoulders, feel them getting heavy, pulling them down. Good. And then turn and look over your right shoulder. And then slowly turn your head to the left, look over your left shoulder. Now I want your head to come back to center. You're sitting as tall as you can. Bring your right ear, your head is still straight, tilt your head sideways so your right ear goes to the right shoulder. Feel that stretch down the left side. Take your left hand, slide it behind your back. Just feel all that release. Take a couple breaths here. This is where we get that tension, because sometimes we do this, we're tight when we're running, or just in the day, we hold the weight of the world on our shoulders. And then go ahead and bring your head to neutral. And then bring your hand back to your thigh. Drop your left ear to the left shoulder. Feels so good. Take your right hand gently behind your back or just off your thigh. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to go all the way back if it feels uncomfortable. Try not to let your chin come up. Keep the chin down slightly. If you're just going directly to the side. Feel it starting to loosen up, hopefully. Or just have less tension. That's always a good thing. And then bring your head to neutral and bring your hand back to center, back to the thigh. Take a deep breath in, slide the shoulders up, and then all the way back down. Take a deep breath in, reach those arms overhead. Tap the fingers, exhale, palms to heart space. Namaste.